you're not ready for home ownership, and in this video I'm explaining to you why in detail, and if this is you, don't feel bad, it's totally okay. So the first topic is responsibility. That's why I put this first. It's not the money, it's not the location, it's not the job, it's responsibility. I think it's very important, that's why it's number one on the list. So maybe you have late payments, maybe you're late paying rent all the time, you're always a couple days late, maybe the phone bill's late, car bill's late. You just don't really have a routine or responsibility for paying things on time and in full. And that's okay. It's something you can work on. And imagine if you had a mortgage payment that you're late on and you start defaulting, going to foreclosure. It's a bad deal, so you have to be responsible first. And that's with late payments. And the next thing I put is impulsive spending habits. So maybe you see something that you just need to buy all the time. You can't just ever save money. Because when it comes to, you get something finally under contract, you need to have funds saved for down payment, closing costs, and if you have bad impulsive spending habits, those funds could be wiped away and the contract is no longer going to work because you just don't have the money and it's a bad situation, a bad deal. That could be true. And you don't treat your current living situation like an asset. Maybe you're renting, you have junk all over the place, you're not really responsible in cleaning up after yourself, and that trying to switch that immediately in home ownership might not be ready for that. Okay? And you just haven't lived alone before. Maybe you're just moving out of your parents' place. You haven't even lived in an apartment. You don't know and understand what it's like to be alone and have all the responsibilities that come along with it and keeping things up to date. And I'm going to talk about house items soon. You just don't understand proper PM, preventive maintenance for things because you just haven't lived alone before, even in an apartment. Okay? So now we talk about responsibility and understand, late payments and those topics. Next is money. Maybe you just don't have 2 years at your W-2 job for a lender. Maybe you just out of college, you're on year one, and a lot of lenders require 2 years of W-2 just to understand if you can actually afford this home or what you're pre-approved up to. And just to see if you do get something, if you're going to default on it because maybe you're getting paid on a not regular basis, and they're going to underwrite you. I'm not a loan officer, I'm simply providing value. They're going to underwrite you to see if you can actually go ahead and go through with this property if you get something accepted as well. So, and you also don't have, in the money topic, you don't have reserves for down payment and closing costs. Maybe you don't have a big egg saved up for those things. Yes, there is ways to reduce closing costs. I've made countless videos, countless shorts about that in the form of concessions, but maybe you don't get concessions, it's a competing offer. Now you don't have closing cost money, you don't have down payment money, and that's a bad situation because you just don't have money saved up. And maybe you have a bad credit score, something that comes along with responsibility, paying things on time, and you just have a lot of debt as well. Maybe you just bought like a expensive vehicle, now you got debt on that, maybe you have credit card debt. All those things add up, and the underwriter, when you do apply for a loan and go through that process, they're going to see that and may not even qualify you in the first place if you're doing a loan. So we talked about responsibility, talked about money. Now is motivation. Maybe you don't actually need to buy. Maybe it's better off just to wait. Maybe you just moved into the city, you got a new job, and I'm talking worldwide. Maybe you just moved from Seattle to LA for your first ever job. Maybe you're in tech and you're just in an apartment living and you don't have those 2 years saved up. You don't even need to buy. Maybe you have a lot of cash saved up. Maybe you can do a cash offer on something, but you just don't need to buy. You're not in that situation. Or maybe you're living in a home at the moment, saving up money for that down payment, for those closing costs, and your motivation just doesn't really need you to buy right now. And next thing I have is you don't have your permanent living location set in stone. So maybe you're just moving into a new city or a new town and just don't really know if you want to commit. Maybe you don't like the area. Maybe you don't like the school district. Maybe you just don't like the career path you're in and want to move. So that's something to think about as well. Are you going to permanently live here? And maybe you can wait for rates to drop, for mortgage interest rates. And yes, this is what a lot of people are going to tell you. When the rates do drop, there's going to be more people entering the market, potentially. And that could also potentially raise price on houses because you have more people competing for that house. And which offer is going to compete? It's the one that pays the most or just has better terms, or both. So that could happen if you wait for mortgage rates to drop. So that's something to keep in mind also if you do want to go that route and have the motivation to wait for interest rates to drop. Okay, next topic is house items. Maybe you just don't know house stuff. That's what they call it, house stuff. You don't understand how the sump pump works and how it's very, very important to understand how that works. And your HVAC system, you don't understand kind of how that works yet. You're not really responsible to understand preventive maintenance. And yes, I understand with all these things, you can learn it, quote unquote, on the job as soon as you move in. And that's one way to do it. But maybe just someone isn't ready. Okay, back to this. Just don't understand siding, any exterior stuff. You just don't really understand what to look for, and that comes with time. Or just how to keep good care of nice things, and also crawl space. You just don't understand certain things also that relate to houses. And yes, you can move in and learn all those things on the spot. Probably wouldn't take that long. But if you have any of these things you don't know, coupled with you're irresponsible, you don't have money saved up, and you also don't have the right motivation, and all of these things mix and match. And these are just 4 of the items that I selected. There's more, and if you'd like me to include more videos, make an individual video, maybe you want to learn more about motivation and you're not ready to buy a house or you don't want to buy, cool, I can do that. But thank you guys for watching. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If you're on any other platform, follow and like for more. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.